Republic of Uzbekistan is in Central Asia and borders Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. Uzbekistan is a dry, landlocked country. Most of the 25 million people in Uzbekistan are Muslim, and they live in rural villages. But Uzbekistan is also the home to what used to be the fourth largest inland body of water, the Aral Sea. Although it's really a saltwater lake, the locals named it the Aral Sea because it was so big. But the Aral Sea isn't as big as it used to be. For the past 40 years, the sea has been shrinking. Uzbekistan used to be part of the former Soviet Union. In the 1950s, the Soviets started growing cotton on a large scale here. They took the water they needed to grow the cotton from the two main rivers that fed the Aral Sea, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya. As less river water made its way into the sea, evaporation began to make the sea dry up. The Aral Sea is now just half its original size. And the Amu Darya River now comes to an end, many miles short of the sea. Many people who used to live in the seaside villages now find themselves living in scorching, sand-blasted desert towns. Some have remained in their villages and tried to continue with their lives. But many others were forced to leave the homes they had lived in for decades. When they return to their former villages years later, all they find is desert and desolation. To make matters worse, the fertilizers and pesticides that the Soviets used on the cotton fields have contaminated much of the region's land and water. The people here have little choice but to eat and drink from these tainted sources. Even though the Soviets left in 1991, Uzbekistan still grows cotton on the farms the Soviets set up, providing jobs to the locals who are bused to the fields. And the rivers are still diverted to irrigate the cotton crops that provide jobs for some, but poverty and illness for others. Until the rivers are no longer diverted, the people here will have to keep on struggling to survive, and hope that one day the water will return. Why is the Aral Sea drying up? How is the shrinking of the Aral Sea affecting the people who live nearby?